All right, council, let's call to order the special council meeting. Here we are, December 11th, our last meeting, we hope, before the holidays, 6:30 p.m. We are obviously live here in the chamber, but also we're being streamed through Zoom and Facebook. If you have any questions related to the agenda, please contact Pete Nopper at townofstanders.ca. And even if you're watching this after the fact, certainly reach out to him because we're more than willing to take questions on anything we discuss. As far as the recording of attendance, I see that we do have two members absent, Deputy Mayor Akaji, Councillor Gumashel. It's very possible that they could be joining us. And I do want to recognize that we are on the unceded traditional territory of the Peskotomuhkati people. Approval of the agenda, we'll get it on, but I do have a slight amendment for tonight. But first, let's have a mover and a seconder for the agenda. I've got Councillor Harlan, seconded by Councillor Heenan. It's open for discussion. I would like to add, just under new business, a discussion in regards to Matthew Dixon's proposal for a mental health forum. So if we could add that in, I'll be looking for a mover. And closed session is there, but I just want to let you know that we will be exercising it under 68(1)(c) tonight, but that is already listed, so we don't have to amend that. So could I have someone move to add that discussion item, Councillor Harland, and seconded by Councillor Hurdle. Any more discussion on the amendment? All in favor of approving the amendment, please signify by saying aye. And now we'll call the question to approve the agenda. All in favor? And that's carried. So, all right, disclosure of conflict of interest, any this evening? Okay. None. And I do have no presentations, but I do have one. Augustino McNeil's Christmas party to Councillor Neil. Here you go, sir. Special presentation. It's a very prestigious invitation. It's advertised quite heavily through Santa's Helpers and now through Town Council.
I'm glad I made the cut. Thank you.
For those of you wondering how you get invited, ask Augustino. All right, introduction, consideration, and passing of bylaws and motions. I will go to the invitee himself, Councillor Neil.
Thank you, Your Worship. This is reference number PS 231209, a policy P-23-03, the Town of St. Andrews Children and Vulnerable Persons Policy. The background reads, staff have been working through a new policy as it concerns the safety and welfare of children and vulnerable persons participating in programs or services of the community. Policy P-23-03, the Town of St. Andrews Children and Vulnerable Persons Policy, focuses on safeguarding these populations, and the town recognizes its responsibility to promote safe environments and practices to avoid abuse or exploitation. The policy outlines the policy statement, the roles and responsibilities, code of conduct for the protection of children and vulnerable persons, the duty to report procedure for suspected abuse and neglect of a child or vulnerable person, recruiting, screening, and training of staff or volunteers, managing an allegation, complaint, or claim of abuse against the staff or volunteer, contacts and other resources, a child and vulnerable policy sign-off sheet, and a duty to report suspected abuse procedure. And again, this policy has been updated by staff based on the additional feedback received. It is staff's recommendation to have this policy added to the town policies and included in our human resource process. So the motion before us reads that the Council of the Town of St. Andrews approves policy 2-23-03, the Town of St. Andrews Children and Vulnerable Persons Policy, and I so move, Your Worship.
Thank you, Councillor Neil. Seconder. I've got Councillor Heenan. This one's open for discussion. I know it was tabled earlier, but we did get the clarification that that staff of the town need it. Not hearing any then. So all in favor of approving this motion, please signify by saying aye. Thank you. That's been carried. Thank you, staff, and Councillor Harlan. I believe you even weighed in on this one. So thank you for your work in getting that policy that is good for the municipality to have. Next one is actually Deputy Mayor's portfolio. So I'll be looking for either Councillor Bennett, Councillor Harlan, or Councillor Weir to take the next one. Don't fight over it. Count. Absolutely. Page 18. 18.
Thank you, Your Worship. Reference number FA 231218. subject to cancellation of regular council meeting for December 18, 2023. The background reads, as the town of St. Andrews and council wrap up meeting schedules for 2023, the town currently has listed one last council meeting on Monday, December 18th, 2023. As we are able to complete all work necessary for the end of the year at December 11th, 2023, special council meeting, it is recommended to cancel the final meeting of the year under bylaw 16-03, the procedural bylaw for the council of St. Andrews. A formal motion is needed to cancel the meeting. So the motion reads that the council of the town of St. Andrews cancels the regular council meeting scheduled for Monday, December 18th, 2023 at 6:30 p.m. under bylaw number 16-03, a procedural bylaw for the organization and operation of the council of St. Andrews. I so move.
Thank you, Councillor Bennett. Seconder for that one. That was a dead tie. Anyone else want to raise their hand? Split it. We'll give it to Councillor Harlan then. Okay. Discussion on not having a meeting. Okay. All in favor of approving that motion, please signify by saying aye. And again, this is why we're here this evening. So that way we can shut it down for the holidays. And I think we met enough this year. So well deserved by council and staff. And Councillor Bennett, you might as well keep going. You're warmed up.
Once again, thank you, your worship and council. This next one is reference number FA 231217. The subject is the town of St. Andrews end of year fiscal transfers. The background reads, the town of St. Andrews maintains several reserve funds where monies can be put in for future use or withdraw for current year's use. As part of the 2023 budget, several of the motions below were already planned for. However, as the 2023 projections show, the amounts have been adjusted to reflect the current projections for 2023. So there's several motions. The first one will be that the council of the town of St. Andrews moves that $449,000 be transferred from the general capital reserve fund to the general capital fund for the for the financing of capital projects in 2023, and I so move.
Thank you. Seconder. I've got Councillor Heenan. Discussion. Again, these are just requirements that we're to do at year end. All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Thank you. And again, that's phasing of projects usually is what causes most of these. Next one.
Your worship, again, the next motion as part of that first background report reads that the council of the town of St. Andrews moves that $32,000 be transferred from the utility capital reserve fund to the utility capital fund for the financing of capital projects in 2023, and I so move.
Thank you. Once again, a seconder, Councillor Neal. Discussion. All in favor, please signify again by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That's no one. That's carried. And the last one.
And the third and final motion, your worship, that the council of the town of St. Andrews moves that $170,000 be transferred from the general operating fund to the general capital reserve fund for future capital investments, and I so move.
Thank you. And the seconder. That's Councillor Harlan. Discussion. Councillor Ware.
Just a quick question, was there any consideration given to moving this to a general operating fund reserve versus the capital fund reserve?
Over to you, Mr. Spear.
Point of order, your worship there. Just Councillor Weir didn't have his microphone on, so we couldn't hear the question online.
Okay, he was wondering more or less if it would be transferred to the general operating versus the reserve, the capital. Is that correct? Yeah.
So there was consideration, but currently the general operating has $188,000 on it. And which is typically more than enough for the, under that. There's also a 5% restriction on the budget of your operating budget, which we're still well short of, I guess, but with the amount there, except for something very unusual, that should be sufficient.
And the capital is definitely going to need it as the assumption in the upcoming years. Yeah. Okay. Good question though, just for clarification. Anyone else? All right, all in favor? It's everybody. That's carried. All right, we're through motions. Thank you. Record time. New business. As we mentioned, Matthew Dixon actually spoke to us. He's here running the camera for CHGO about a mental health forum in the community. And I was fortunate enough where Councillor Harlan and Councillor Neal have been meeting with him and some other representatives, and they met with myself and staff today. And I'll pass it over to Councillor Harlan. Do you want to say just a couple words about it?
Sure. Thank you, Mayor Henderson, and thank you, Council. Councillor Neal, I'd encourage you to add to what I'm about to say. So back on October 16th, Matthew Dixon presented to Council promoting the idea of hosting a town hall on mental health. I agreed to follow up with Matthew on this, and Councillor Neal and Councillor Hurdle also expressed an interest in participating in the discussion. So a small organizing committee was formed, which also includes Muriel Jarvis from the community and Lisa Cheney from the Canadian Mental Health Association. So tonight, we would like to propose to Council that the town of St. Andrews holds a town hall meeting in February, inviting the public to come out and participate in a conversation about mental wellness in our community. We want to facilitate a discussion about how we can become an inclusive and supportive community, how we can work toward eliminating the stigma of mental health and create a stronger, healthier community. And we want to empower our community to be a model for mental wellness. So just to put some context around this, so we know that 1 in 5 people in Canada experience a mental health issue each year. Anxiety and depression are some of the top 2 causes of mental health struggles. 1 in 30 Canadians struggle with a substance dependency. The chances of experiencing a mental health issue by the time you're 40 is 1 in 2. And the number of people in Canada who die by suicide per year is 4,000, or almost 11 per day. I find these statistics staggering, and this has been my life work, and I still find it staggering. And these are pre-COVID statistics. We know that the pandemic had a huge impact on individuals, and we are still understanding the full impact of the pandemic on people's mental wellness. We also know that there's a significant link between our physical health and our mental wellness. They're intricately linked. So in order to address these issues, to create an environment that we can discuss our emotional well-being, we are suggesting that we begin a conversation by having a mental health forum. Our ask to Council is that the town of St. Andrews agrees to host this event. The organizing committee is prepared to do all of the legwork and the heavy lifting, but we would need assistance with advertising, refreshments, and space. And in terms of a dollar figure, we anticipate that it would be about $1,000. So that's my ask.
Thank you very much. Councillor Neal, anything to add? I think she covered it pretty well. Yeah. So just for rest of Council's background is staff was part of the meeting today, and staff sees no challenge with supporting the event, and really what it is staff's enrollment would be to help get the word out there, perhaps the facility obviously as well, which will be determined. We're looking at a couple options right now, both as far out as obviously Bayside, but obviously at the arena as well. So there's some options on the table there for the community they're going to look at. So really what it comes down to is we'll break it out into 2 parts. Maybe the first ask that'll get consensus, because it's not a motion, would be, do you need a motion, or do you prefer a motion? Okay. So maybe I'll break it out to 2 then, that the town of St. Andrews supports this initiative, and you can state the appropriate name. The mental health forum, is that good? And participates as an active organization involved in leading it. So That wasn't the best motion I've ever come up with, but you get the gist of it. Does that work for you, Mr. Knopper? You can make me sound smarter in the minutes. Okay. I need a mover and a seconder for that, actually. First of all, I've got Deputy Mayor Akaji and seconded by Councillor Hurdle. Did I see that, Councillor Hurdle? Okay, discussion on that. Okay, all in favor of approving that motion, please signify by saying aye. That is everybody that is carried. And the next one would be to support, I believe out of our, would this be out of our grant assistance program? Is that where we'd take that? Or would this be from civic promote? Where would you take civic promotion? And would that be for this budget year, or would that be for 2024? 2024. Okay, so we'd be looking for a mover and a seconder to approve $1,000 out of, sorry, you said civic promotion, for $1,000 for this particular initiative. I'd need a mover for that. I've got Councillor Heenan, seconded by Councillor Ware. Discussion on the $1,000. Again, this would be for a mail out for education and probably a little bit of a social media presence or blitz, as well, potentially the food, as you talked about. So all in favor, please signify by saying aye. Perfect, and that's approved. Thank you, council, for the unanimous support, and of course for Matthew Dixon for bringing it to our attention. I do think that it's good to have a council in town that's proactive in ending the stigma, and this is one way we can do it. And I personally look forward to being there in late February. So thank you for all your work on that, Councillor Harlan and Councillor Neal. All right, let's jump back. We are now in question period. Nancy, do you have any questions? We ask you probably 50 a week. Do you have one for us? And Ago's already got his birthday invitation out. So anyone write to you during that quick meeting? No. And is there anyone online, Mr. Dopper? Okay.
Sylvie, if you wanted to raise your hand to speak to council, please do so now. Sylvie, one last call.
Thank you for attending, though. Just the same, Councillor or Deputy Mayor's comments. Anything this evening? Oh, whoa. We'll go across. We'll start Councillor Heenan, Councillor Neal, and then Deputy Mayor Akji. Is there anyone else? Okay, let's go.
Your worship.
Councillor Ware too.
Oh, your worship and council, I just want to say a big thank you for the work that's been done on our new website. I think it's absolutely wonderful, easy to maneuver, and I think it's a great platform. So I just wanted to say a big thank you, because I know there was a lot of people involved with it, from our athletic coordinator right on through to the office, and I think it's a pat on the back time for that. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Heenan. Councillor Neal.
Thank you, your worship. I just wanted to take the opportunity to thank Mr. Knopper and Mr. Spear and all of our town staff for all their hard work and dedication this year. And just wish everybody again a happy and safe holiday and Merry Christmas.
Thank you, Councillor Neal. Appreciate it. Councillor Ware.
Sorry, Mark. Number one, I just want to express my appreciation for what was behind the scenes an extremely difficult year for the amalgamated group. I know the mayor and I were involved the year before, so we had some history going into it. But there was the potential for a lot of problems. And by working together, this council managed to get through those problems without any significant, for lack of a better word, blow-ups. But it was a very difficult year, or anticipated to be a very difficult year, at least by his worship and I. And it turned out far better than I expected. So that was the first comment. I guess the second comment is Mr. Mayor, have we received any update from the release on October the 12th by the province that, based on our increase in assessment of 10.3%, that our potential tax revenues would go up by $562,000.
So I guess we'll go to Steph. So the question though is, have we got an update since then?
Yes,
I don't believe, but over to you, Mr. Spear.
the budget's been submitted to the province, but we haven't had any confirmation that it's been accepted. So there's no reason to think it won't. It's just, it was a new electronic methodology that everyone was learning, so they may be trying to figure out how to send confirmation back, but I haven't received word one way or the other that it's been confirmed or not.
But I guess my question was, back in October, they said they used the term potential additional property tax revenue. They have not bothered to update that since that date.
Sorry, Councillor, I guess I don't quite understand what specifically you're asking. So they gave out the assessment and the town put out their mill rates, which has increased our overall property tax revenue based on a bit of a high, the mill rates brought them up some, plus the increased assessments.
Okay, well, maybe I worded it a bit bad. When they did do the assessments and released the numbers, they said if we did not change our mill rate, we would generate an additional $562,015 in property tax revenue. And I'm just wondering, do they keep us updated, or is that just something they put out there and then leave us hanging?
Well, no, it's because of our assessments. When they put those out, they would have had the assessments and saying if we didn't make any changes to the mill rates, ours would have gone up by 562,000. But as it was, I'm gonna do the 63 here. I think it went up by about 350,000. I'll have to pull out and don't have the current budget in front of me, but because the mill rates were adjusted, the overall tax revenue has gone up some. If you give me a couple of minutes, Your Worship, I can get them all when I warm up the
Sure,
machine. I
we
can give you an exact number. Okay.
That's okay. Or even anyone that wants to inquire could just contact town hall, but you could also send it to Councillor Ware and rest of council as well. But it was within the budget. He's just seeking clarification, right?
Yeah.
So. Good, Councillor Ware. Thank you. And I will add on to that comment. You and I are gonna meet, but I did a video a while ago, and I did say that with reform comes some increased taxes to Shamrock Bayside based on the province's projection. And to your point, and what you're concerned about is it wasn't fear mongering. It's a reality, right? So you and I will circle back and have conversation about that. So appreciate your questions this evening. Deputy Mayor Akaji.
Thank you, Your Worship and Council. Sorry I was late, but
Forgiven.
anyway, I have a good reason, but anyway, thank you very much. I must have missed, and I'm probably going to reiterate what everybody else has said, but I appreciate the town crew and staff and all their hard work. I want to wish all councillors and everybody in the town a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. And hopefully we'll see you again soon, and be safe over the holidays. Thank you very much, Your Worship.
Thank you. Just one more call in case there's anyone else. All right, echo the comments. Thank you, staff. I don't know how many times we met. Mr. Knopper might know pretty close to how many it was this year, but it was a lot. And like Councillor Ware said, we were not given an easy task whatsoever. But I've said this before, if you don't know where the bus is going, but if you get the right people on the bus, it's still a good ride. And I can't say that it wasn't bumpy at times, but the truth is not to say that we didn't have to overcome things, but because of the people around this table, I think we're very fortunate, and a lot of municipalities probably wouldn't have had even close to an easy ride as we did. So let's hope that we can continue finding common ground in the future. And I just want to say that I appreciate all of council, your efforts this year. Like I said, we did some pretty big things. We got some development going that a lot of rural communities are envious of. It was definitely aggressive, but it had to happen. Otherwise, we'd be just doing what so many places are doing right now and just talking. We're actually got shovels in the ground. So that's just one of many, many ways of action items. And I'm looking forward to eventually getting the ladder truck. It keeps getting delayed, but there's some big things coming ahead for the community. And as far as housing, we're still having active conversations. We're not done yet. I will say that based on the gaps in housing in our community, this council and staff and the community and private developers have basically overcome about 50% of it when these projects are done. So we're not done yet. But again, when you get that result, and again, some of this will be affordable housing, it's pretty impressive. So every one of you should be pleased with your efforts and your results. But also over the holidays, take some time for your family, because I know there's a lot of evenings here where you're not with your significant others or your family. So thank you for your commitment to the town of St. Andrews, and thank you for the public for continuing to entrust us to make the decisions on behalf of this community, and of course, electing us. So that's my long spell tonight. Councillor Gumichel wasn't here to call me out. Did you have something else before I go to close?
Yeah, council, just so you're aware, after this meeting tonight, you'll approximately be 450 motions. So you're actually 30 less than last year's. So just to give you an idea of, you're pretty consistent over the last 4 to 5 years with council for motions. So you're ranged between 400 and 500 motions every year. So good work.
A lot of debating. So at this point, I'll be looking to go to closed session under Act 68(1)(c), which is information that could cause financial loss or gain to a person or the local government, or could jeopardize negotiations leading to an agreement or contract. Could I have a mover to go into closed? I've got Councillor Bennett and seconded by Councillor Heenan. All in favor of going to closed session? We're in closed, and thank you to CHGO for all their efforts this year. So it's greatly appreciated. Then we'll make Councillor. Can I have a motion to come out of closed session? I've got Councillor Heenan and seconded by Councillor Harlan. All in favor of coming out of closed session?
Aye.
Aye. That's everybody. And now I will need a motion for council to approve the amended lease between the town of St. Andrews and the Algonquin Resort for the use of the dormitories. Could I have a mover? I got Deputy Mayor Akaji and seconded by Councillor Ware. Discussion on that? All in favor of approving that motion, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
That's everybody. That's approved. So the last thing to do before Christmas and New Year's is a motion to adjourn. Deputy Mayor Akaji, as always, and Councillor
Heenan.
but I think I'll give it to Blanchard because I
yes,
saw
you
his
did.
hand. I saw his hand. It was behind yours. So all in favor of adjourning?
Aye.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.